you have to give some points to a bigger guy that's aesthetic.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So Andrew Jack winning in Texas, and that too in such a dominating fashion, that has put him in every discussion for this upcoming Miss Olympia, especially in that discussion for the top spots. Will this be the year where we will finally have a taller, more statuesque physique for Miss Olympia title? Will the judges give aesthetics more weight rather than hard granite conditioning and rather than just pure muscle? Well, this was a question raised by the first classic physique Miss Olympia champion, Danny Hester, on Jay Cutler's podcast.
Because now you're getting a bigger guy that outmuscles them. If they just get in their condition, like Andrew Jack, I think he should have freaking won, like, hands down. Even if he's not as tight,
He's like a statue.
Are you giving up that much for the overall package to be just giving it to just a little grainier?
That's where bodybuilding, I think, because it becomes a glue contest at a certain point.
So Tyler Mannion was really impressed with that look that Andrew brought at this year's Texas Pro, especially his conditioning. He said that he was almost 100% on, especially at the night show. He was almost on point at this year's Texas Pro. And what everyone is wondering right now, if somehow Andrew can improve on that, and if he can bring an even better conditioning, then who knows what the ceiling of Andrew is this year. But that being said, I have to say, the track record of Andrew at the Olympia, that hasn't been that impressive. He always comes in worse at the Olympia in comparison to the Olympia qualifiers.
Like I said, you're way off, but if you're pretty on there and you have everything else,
It's a muscle
size
contest.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Even Flex Wheeler, when he won some of those and beat the Sean Rays, who had more strided rear side, but Flex had that crazy shape, and he deserved it all.
So Samson Dauda is also another taller and aesthetic guy, and I have to say more denser and thicker than Andrew Jack. And you can even say that he wasn't even close to either Hadi Choopan or Derek's conditioning at last year's Miss Olympia. But he was in a damn good condition at this year's Arnold UK against Hadi Choopan this year. But the overall density and the conditioning and the maturity of Hadi, that's still won over the judges. And I have to say this is a very interesting discussion, that how much leeway the judges will give to Andrew Jack at this year's Miss Olympia. What if he is absolutely 100% on everywhere except for his hamstrings and his glutes? Will that be the decider of his fate? And also, do let me know what are your thoughts. Do you guys agree with Danny Hester? Next up, we have the 41 days out physique update of Branch Chen, one of the real OGs of classic physique division, a guy who was top 5 at his classic physique Miss Olympia debut back in 2019. So the only problem with Branch on why he hasn't performed that well, especially in these last few years, is that he just did not evolve with the division, especially from the back. Because if you guys remember, Chris Bumstead back in 2019, he had the weakest back out of the top 3 guys that year. And that is why his victory that year, which was also his first ever classic physique Miss Olympia title, that was kinda controversial. Because Breon and his team and his fans thought that Breon should have won based on his superior back. So Branch Chen also had a weak back, especially in comparison to Breon Ansley and the late George Peterson. But he was quote-unquote more classic than both these guys. He had unbelievably good aesthetics, and he had super flow. Now since that time, while Sebum turned his back into his strength, Branch Chen's back still hasn't improved that much in the last few years. And even right now in this update, when we are just 6 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia, you can see that his back is still majorly lacking. Now, have you guys noticed one thing? That there is something with these guys from China. These guys have some of the best quad sweeps in bodybuilding in the recent times. And we have so many examples. We have Xiaoming Yan or Yang Lian in the men's open. We have the former 212 guy Ping Yung Long, who is now transforming into the men's open bodybuilding. We have Jaehan Park in classic physique. And finally, the quads of Branch Chen. I have to say, absolutely phenomenal. And that quad sweep is exactly what makes his physique so eye-pleasing. So hopefully Branch brings the conditioning, especially the standard that we have right now. That kind of conditioning that guys like Urs Grashinsky or Michael the Bull brings. Because if he can do that, he might fight for top 10. Next up, we have 6 weeks out physique update of Wesley West, hitting this shot to absolute perfection. So both sides are equally good, so he might add them both in his Olympia posing routine. And I have to say that is an insane level of conditioning at 41 days out. And there is every reason to believe that Wesley is gonna beat his Arnold Classic look, and that too by quite some margin. And in terms of everything, the size, the flow, the sharpness, the conditioning, plus the muscularity, he is gonna be so much better. I mean, just take a look at his physique right now. He is all-righted everywhere. So Wesley causing the biggest upset at this year's Arnold Classic in Columbus. I mean, he literally jumped from 7th place to 2nd place in the world. And that has added a lot more excitement to this year's Classic Physique Miss Olympia battle. Because on one hand, people think that he's gonna be able to beat Ramon Dino, and he's gonna be the one fighting with C-Bum for the title. But on the other hand, people said that Ramon wasn't at his all-time best, and he still lost by just 1 point. So Ramon is gonna come back for redemption, and he's gonna be the one to fight with C-Bum again for the top spot. So Wesley is one of the tallest guys out there. He's 6'2", and is arguably bigger than every competitor in Classic Physique division right now. He's most probably bigger than C-Bum as well. I mean, the guy was 280 pounds just a few months ago at the peak of his off-season, while he was trying to put on more muscle. While C-Bum, on the other hand, he went as high as 265. So 280 pounds, that is like men's open off-season weight. And that just goes to show us how massive this guy is. So if the last call-out of the Olympia is a 3-man call-out, with Chris Bumstead, Ramon Dino, and Wesley West, it will be one of the most interesting things to ever happen in Classic Physique division since 2019, because that was the last time that fans saw it as a really close contest. Next up is the physique update of Justin Rodriguez, a guy who was placing as high as top 8 at the Olympia level just a few years ago. And now this year we saw he hasn't been able to crack even top 3 in any of the Olympia qualifiers. The Arnold, Ohio was Justin's first show of the year, where he finished 8th, but the bigger disappointment that came afterwards, and that was at Detroit Pro, a show he was supposed to win. But he did not even place 3rd behind Good Vito and Martin. He actually ended up in 4th place behind Ronald Gordon. So Justin has worked with a lot of coaches, and I have to say he was really flourishing up until Boston Pro 2022, where he placed 2nd behind William Bonac, beating a guy like Samson Dauda, Steve Kuklo, and so many others. But ever since then, his physique has been on a continuous decline. Particularly his legs, they just downsized a lot. And that melting quad sweep, that exposed his waistline even more than before. And it's not only just his physique that regressed over the years. The competition just got way better in the last few years. So there was talk about Justin considering a possible retirement after this year's Detroit Pro. But as per him, he doesn't compete to place high. Obviously that's the goal, but he just loves to prep and compete in bodybuilding shows. So nothing will ever top his Chicago Pro 2020 look. He had more of a streamlined waist back then, and he was super dry for that show. His conditioning was absolutely top notch. Next up is the physique update of Stuart Suland, aka Beef Stew, who recently revealed that he had one of the worst post-show rebound this year. He made zero progress during this phase because he was just traveling a lot, and he got sick as well. So if anything Stu learned from his competitive season this year is that he's still not big enough to win his first pro show. He looked incredible at this year's New York Pro, and that is why he finished 4th in a very competitive lineup. Now Cali Pro wasn't good for him at all, because all of us thought that Stu is gonna be the one challenging Tony Burton for the title at this year's Cali Pro. And Van Pro, which was his last show of the season, his look at that show went totally sideways. He wasn't mentally focused for that one, and that showed on his physique as well. Plus another mistake that he made, he got ready too early for the New York Pro, and eventually later during the year, his body just started fighting back. And I have to say, back in 2023, he was much closer to a victory compared to this year. But in fact, he made some great size improvements from last year's New York Pro to this year's New York Pro. So back in 2023, he placed 2nd at the New York Pro, but even a bigger physique could not yield the same result in 2024. So the only option left for Beef Stew right now is that go hard during the off-season with food and everything, and try to get as big as he possibly can, and just hope for a better outcome next year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.